My name is Jackson, aka the Big Unit. Some of you know me as the guitar repair guy. Some of you know me as the lead singer, guitarist, and songwriter for the heavy metal band Shatterbone. Some of you know me as an electrical educator. Some of you know me as the guy with the crazy guitar collection. Some of you know me as a die-hard Raiders fan. For years I have worked on, collected, played, and spent all my free time around guitars. But now I am going to do something I have never attempted before. I'm gonna build a guitar. Alright, so welcome back again. I'm back at routing. I did most of the routing the other day, but I got stumped. I had absolutely no idea how to go about routing the shelf that the control cavity cover plate sits into. And you wouldn't believe the lack of videos that actually explain how they go about doing that on the internet. It's like everybody just does it. Nobody really explains it. I don't have a shallow, like, you know, 1/4 inch template router bit. The only template router bit I have currently is a 1-inch bit. So I was trying to figure out how to make lemonades out of lemon here, and what I ended up with is I saw one guy that was talking about putting a spacer underneath the template to raise up your template, so then your 1-inch bit's only cutting about 1/4 of an inch deep or so, depending how deep you set your router. So that's what I came up with. If you look here, what I've done is I've got my Crimson template, and I've got some 3/4 plywood. So what I did was I put the template on the plywood, I routed out where the cavity cover plate is going to have to be recessed, so it matches the template for that. And then I'm going to take my router, got everything masking tape and super glued in place here again. I'm going to take my router and I'm going to set it in here so the bearing is riding on the template and the router bit is just a little bit down in there, so about 1/4 of an inch. Theoretically, this should result in a recessed shelf for my control plate and not total utter destruction. So fingers crossed and all that fun stuff. Remember, kids, always wear your PPE, earplugs, safety glasses. Okay, so everybody's got PPE. Cross your fingers, say your prayers, here we go. Eureka! It worked!
High five.
Right, high five. All right. Come on. I gotta tell you, not ashamed to admit, I was pretty nervous. But it looks like it worked out pretty well. Now, as far as what I'm doing for the back cavity cover, as of right now, I am contemplating, I have a whole bunch of oak wood that was left in the last house that we bought. The previous owner just left it there. And I mean, there's a lot of oak wood there. And I've used it for a couple of projects. I mean, I made a pedal board case for my Kemper, and I've done a couple other. Oh, this is going to be cute trying to get that apart. I'm going to worry about that later off camera. But yeah, I made a Kemper pedal board case, and I made a couple other fun little things out of it, and I'm thinking the grain looks pretty similar to this ash here. I was thinking about maybe taking a piece of that, just planing it down, and then cutting it out on the bandsaw and making a control cavity cover out of that. I might go about doing that. We'll see what happens here. I could either fret the neck next, or mount the bridge next. Get the holes drilled for the bridge and make sure that's in place where I want it. But both of those activities are going to be shop B jobs. So I think we're going to pause for a little bit, and then we're going to reconvene down in the air-conditioned shop. Well, it's air-conditioned now, the air-conditioned shop, and we'll get to do work without sauna. So, all right, we'll reconvene in a little bit down there.
Cool.
All right, so here's where we're at. Decisions. I could fret the guitar neck, or I could put hardware together and make sure it all looks all right and fits all right and all that. And honestly, I'm more in the mood right now to play with putting hardware together and stuff like that. Plus, it's working ever closer to dinner time here. So, I don't want to get into a 2-hour project here, fretting. Alright, so oh, I gotta lay that out yet too, where I'm putting controls. But what I've got a Seymour Duncan JB pickup for the bridge, and I've got a Seymour Duncan Jazz pickup for the neck. Both chrome. I am going chrome on top of chrome on this guitar. Everything is chrome. I'm fond of chrome. I like chrome. Now, oh yeah, I think I went deep enough on the control cavity, on the pickup cavities. I'll just pretend that it was due to weight relief. I'm trying to relieve some weight because this ash is incredibly heavy, which is not a joke. This ash is like ridiculously heavy. I don't know if it's heartwood or what the story is there, but this is some stout ash. I don't know here if I Where the heck is my scale? I suppose it's down here by my resin. Oh, there it is. Just for giggles, see if we can get a weight on this thing. £5, 12 ounces. That's just the body blank. That's not the neck. That's not the pickups or the hardware. Almost 6 pounds for just the body. For all you over in the UK there, that's that's not in my capability of my stupid little scale here. Let's see here. Unit converter. Weight. Go dumb American measurement to smart European measurement, and we get 2.6 kilograms. So she's a hefty girl. So anyway, so yeah, we'll pretend that those cavities are deeper because of weight relief. That's what that was about. I planned that way. Mm-hmm. So okay. Chrome pickups, chrome pickup rings. Chrome, chrome, chrome.
You don't have to drill a hole first?
Huh? Not for this. These magnet's trying to eat my screws. Okay. For this, they thread into the hole on the ear of the guitar pickup. So these springs are like super long. Why would they use such long springs? I always buy Seymour Duncans. I don't ever remember the springs being this ridiculously long. But anyway. Now everybody's got their own flavor, you know, the pickups that they like the best, the pickups that they don't care for, whatever. Typically, I am a big fan of the Duncan distortions. I'd probably, out of my guitar collection that you see in my intro video, if you don't skip it every time, I would bet half of them have Duncan distortions. I'm a big fan of Duncan distortions. But a couple of my guitars have JBs in them, and I really dig the JB as well. So that's what I went with this time. I think the JB's a little more versatile. I mean, not that the Duncan Distortion is not a versatile pickup. It's very versatile. It's just it has its range, right? Or it's either heavy metal or hard rock or classic rock. You can get blues out of it, but I mean, even in the clean setting, it gets kind of raspy, you know, kind of gritty. And the JB gets a nicer clean, I think. Now, at this point, several of you have heard some of my band's music because I've been using it on the videos for backing music. And, you know, most of our stuff doesn't really require a whole lot of audio versatility, right? We're typically one of them angry metal bands, so it doesn't require a whole lot of audio diversity. We're not Dream Theater. But chocolate's great unless you have to eat it every day. Then all of a sudden chocolate gets boring after a while. So I like to play other things besides just metal, and that gives me the opportunity to do so. It gives me a little more versatility. I mean, even metal, you've got vast differences in what metal sounds like. I mean, it's not all black metal, you know. Some of it's like, you know, typo negative or things like that. Some of it's even nicer than that. All right. Ah. Shoot the spring across the room, that's fun. I've never done that before in all the years I've been working on guitars. Never once. All right, so those are ready. Then I suppose I have to drill a few holes here. I didn't bring the drill down here, did I?
Nope. I'll go get it.
Oh, you're so wonderful. It's nice to have a lovely assistant who assists. That's great. All right, so for controls layout, I'm still, you know, still grinding my gears on that one. I mean, do I do a master volume, a master tone, and a three-way switch? So then it's either loud or it's not, or, you know, maybe it's groggier tone on everything or brighter tone on everything, or I don't know. I'm kind of, You know, on Les Pauls, you usually have the standard volume for each one, tone for each one, and then a switch to select between them. And I mean, that's all well and good, but I don't use the neck pickup nearly as much as some other people do. I don't know if I need that level of tonal versatility, and quite frankly, flipping this over, I mean, I do have to consider that I gotta have room to get all this in here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, that might be something we're gonna have to address. The shaft of the switch. The switch that I have here is a Les Paul switch, and it is way too tall for its britches. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to address, because the only thing I have here, I have a 5-way blade switch, and I have 2 tall Les Paul switches. Neither of those is going to work for this. And I think maybe I should have routed that cavity a little deeper. Hang on a second here. So in the front here, uh, 29.5 millimeters, and I got 42.25 millimeters. Let's go inches here. That means I've got about 1 5/32. And 1 21/32. So that's a 1/2 inch top yet. I think I might have to go a little deeper on that cavity. I mean, I could cram and get 3 in a switch. But I don't know if I really want to. So I'd have neck volume, bridge volume, master tone, and a switch. I don't know. I think I want to just keep it with volume, tone, master volume, master tone, and switch. If I really don't like it that way, I can always piddle with the electronics and get stacked pots later. That switch is not going to work though. So I'm going to have to order a shallower switch. So like a 3-way switch that's got the L, the bend over L shape. Okay. Let's get some holes drilled. I bet that'd fish wire through the guitar body and add weight relief. That I think is probably not the best idea. That's far more functional for fishing Romex through walls in houses and stuff like that, which I'm not doing today. Oh, I got that one. It's still a little short. What I got here? Those are all pretty short too. That one's pretty good size. That one's too thick. Let's see here. to get from pickup to control cavity. Doesn't look like I gotta go that far. That one's kind of stout, but I think it'll do it. I don't think I need a 3/8 inch hole though. Well, no. I mean, it would certainly make fishing it through there easier, but I think that's overkill. Not the band from New Jersey. Okay. Okay. Ah, dang it. I think I haven't sanded yet. Shipped from the UK. Ha! Imagine what I might have bought in there. Something from Crimson. Alright. Uh-oh. She's getting tired. Well, I see it. It's almost ready to break through. A little bit of a wedgie there. The bit. Okay, we got that, and then no touchy. Hot stuff, a lot of hot stuff. I do have these really long skinny ones for some of the funner stuff, and I think we're going to use that for the ground wire. Now let's just make sure. Oh yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff you want to check. Notice how it's got that recessed square. If I would have just drilled the ground wire through anywhere, I'd have fought with trying to bend the wire back around so it would sit flush underneath that. Because it's got to make good durable contact with the metal. If it's just floating around in here, you're going to get your guitar to go boom, 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 as the wire shakes around in there. It's going to drive you nuts. So, yeah, we're going to have to... Looks like it's about 1/4 inch from the edge. So if I would go about right here, I could fold it right over once it gets into the cavity. Uh-oh. Ah! Perfect time for the battery to die. Hang in there. Alright. I will say something though. These Bosch batteries last for freaking ever. pretty impressive how long those batteries last.
Did the hole go through?
It did. Again, no touchy. Woohoo! All right. So, a little bit crusty there. And a little bit of tear out. Okay. Okay, so now that I got that, and I got that, I got that and that. Yeah, it looks like I have to slightly deconstruct here in a minute.
Why do you have to do that?
So I can get to the screw holes, because a couple of the mounting screw holes are lined up right underneath the bridge saddles. So we pull this out of the way, just unscrew a couple of these saddles, and put your hand over the end of it, because when it gets to the end, it does have a tendency to like eject it with the spring. So yeah, keep your hand over the end of it. But now I can expose those 3 screw holes. So I can get everything lined up where I want it. Get my pencil. Okay. And then get my owl. The owl. Dang it, that last one scooted over into the green just a little bit. And this one is right on the glue joint, which we want, but at the same time it's making my all want to travel too. All owl, all whatever. Well, depends where you're from and what you want to call it. Okay. Now, a good rule of thumb, if nobody ever taught you this, when you're ready to drill a hole, we don't want to drill it too big, because if we do that, then your threads are not going to grab. But if you drill it too narrow, it still can cause you to strip the head out and all that fun stuff. So, ooh. Yeah, look at that. That's all Ben's fault. Watch Crimson Guitars, and next thing you know, you sit there and you go, ooh, that looks cool, I want one of them.
That works pretty good.
Yeah, I could do with a little work holding, but otherwise. There he is. Hand tools are swell, but there are certain times where a power tool just makes more sense. Okay, now I'm not going to go super tight yet, simply because I want to make sure that they all line up. Oh my gosh, that's just freaking spectacular.
What?
It lines up almost exact perfect.
Did you put the other stuff back in yet?
Huh?
Did you put the other stuff you pulled out back in?
Other stuff I pulled out back in. No. There we go. All right. Woo! You can't put the other stuff back in until the screws are in place. Otherwise the bridges are in the way of that too. The bridge saddles are in the way of that too.
Oh.
Okay, so we know that fits. And we know the screws are the proper size. Screw holes are the proper size. Whoop whoop. I did not just say whoop whoop on camera. Okay. And now we can start to get an idea of what we're going to be dealing with here. Oh, hey, you know what I didn't do? Y'all saw it already, I'll bet. At least half of you are watching right now going, I wonder how long it'll take him to realize that he didn't drill a hole from the neck pickup to the bridge. What's it been? 10 minutes now since I drilled the first hole?
I was wondering when you were going to do that, actually.
You were?
I was.
Good Lord, if you know and I didn't, then we got problems. Nothing against you. You're just...
I'm just
not a guitar person.
No, but I knew there needed to be a hole.
Yes, there does. And I'm sitting here contemplating... Oh. Yeah, pound cake. Some people's alarm clock, you know, plays chimes and bells and things like that. Mine plays Eddie Van Halen playing a guitar with a power drill. But anyway, I'm trying to... That one's a little too big yet. That one's not as big, but it's not going to make it all the way from the neck pocket to there. So, we will save that for round 2, because round 2 will be coming up sooner rather than later. So we have the bridge in place. As far as the pickup rings, I don't want to get those screwed in, the holes drilled and screwed in, until I have the bridge the neck and the strings on, because that's I'm going to want to make absolutely sure that I have the strings properly lined up with the pole pieces on the pickups before I mount the pickups, otherwise I end up with it being off. Okay, next step here, I'm trying to decide if I want to use ferrules or a scratch plate. Now, I have scratch plate, neck plate. I have a sneaking suspicion that I may have removed too much material already from the neck heel to make a neck plate a viable option. Ooh. Boy, I don't know. I haven't finished sanded it yet or anything.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's dangerously close to that edge. So I got a feeling it's probably going to end up being string ferrules instead of a neck plate.
It's a ferrule.
These fellas.
Oh.
So, first, we're going to have to get a size on one of these. Was somebody here, or were they just freaking out about the neighbors?
The neighbors were home.
Okay, so these are 15 millimeters, and I have a 15 millimeter drill bit, so that's fabulous. Now, thinking about where, if I go four of them, I could go something like that, and I think that would work. And while I know those two are at an angle, since that heel is kind of swept like that, I don't think that's going to look dumb or anything like that. So I think I'm going to go with that. And I think that the best way to go about this, in an effort to prevent tear out and all that nastiness, is going to be to start out drilling with a small bit just to get through to the other side, so I have my center point for each one of them all sorted, and then I can go about the the drilling for the ferrules and so on and so on. Work holding. Why is that so squeaky all of a sudden? I don't like that. That was weird. Like a ratcheting piece got stuck or something. Okay. Alright. Hot stuff. Okay. Now then, I don't really need to do that. I'm just trying to clear it a little bit so I don't have that as a problem. Okay, so 15 millimeter. And these little fellas are not that deep. I don't want them a whole lot deeper than they have. Uh-oh. Hey! I better clean that off of there a second. Hey, how that WD-40 works better. Let's do that. Okay. Oh, don't roll away. I had previously been doing some practice with resin. I had a fun idea for the inlays on the neck. I ordered the neck from Crimson and it came with inlays in it already. And I'm pretty sure they're actually mother of pearl, not plastic. So I did not think it was a good idea to drill out mother of pearl inlays just because I had a fun idea.
Do it on your next one.
Yeah, that's the thought, or one of the next ones. I don't think this is one and done hobby at this point. I got a feeling that I caught the bug, so I will probably be participating in this more and more frequently. A Sharpie, and I don't know what the heck I did with mine. Oh, I see it. He's hiding right in plain sight. Okay, so I don't want to go very deep. I guess I'll try this in a minute. Okay, so right there. No, there we go. Oh, still, get a little tear out there. What? Yeah, we're looking at it. Yeah. Well, that's perfectly flush. Okay, that's perfectly flush. And I have a feeling, after I sand a little bit and stuff, that's probably going to be not quite deep enough. So, that I think will be good. Now, let's okay, so last time that should be higher. Oh, crap. That was too deep. Alright, I did. I think it's a good bit. We'll bolt it in and stuff. It's recessed about 1/16 of an inch. Well, I guess. I'm changing by now. Don't know. Alright. With that. Last one's gonna be stubborn. There we go. Alright. All right. So I have that done. Now, I just want to check something here a second, because by the time I get those recessed into ferrules, that's going through the front of the neck. And that I don't want for, I would hope, clearly obvious reasons. Alright. So, after all the routing, and off camera, which was probably not well thought out on my part, but I originally had that cavity about a half an inch thick. The front of the body inside the control cavity is about half an inch thick, and the switch threads were not going to go all the way through, because you look at the threads on a switch and you don't have a ton of thread protruding. So I thought to myself, I would just quick run up there and route the control cavity a little bit thinner for the controls so the switch would poke through the front. Apparently I did not have the depth stop locked. It was snug, but not snug enough to where when I pushed down that it didn't hammer it down a little farther than it should have. And that's literally about the thickness of 4 sheets of paper now. There's nothing there. I could push my finger through it if I wanted to. Which, to be completely honest with you, I've been sick about for the last couple weeks now. I wasn't sure what the heck I was going to do. I had a couple of people tell me, well, you know, cut a piece that big and just glue it in there. The problem is I haven't sanded the top yet. And this is so thin, as soon as I put a sander on it, I'm going right through it. I mean, it's literally flexing right now as I'm doing this. There's literally nothing there. It's paper thin. How I managed to do that without the router actually penetrating the front is kind of a miracle, to be honest. I don't know how that happened, but I guess that's a sign that the blade was good and sharp. But anyway, so at this point I think my only option is to put a top on it. You've seen me mention that I've got several maple tops in the last couple of videos I've posted. I don't, as I go back and look at it now, it's like, well, like I was setting myself up for it, or I was seeing the disaster coming and just not aware that I was seeing it coming. So I guess my next step here, I'm going to have to build a shooting board. I'm going to have to plane the edge of the top so it'll sit nice and flush together. I'm going to have to glue the top, book match it, glue it, and then transfer it onto the guitar. Make sure I get all the cavities properly drilled where they're supposed to be, which could be a challenge in and of itself. So yeah, I've got a lot of oh crap work to do now to make up for my screw up. So anyway, I guess we're going to proceed back out to the garage and start working on that top and see what we can get accomplished there.